Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob at Super League Malibu. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Quintana Roo, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. There's not many people on the planet who have a gold, silver, and bronze medal, and this young man has all three, and he's wearing them right now. Mr. Jonny Brownlee joins us. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm great, thank you. It's been a while since I spoke to you last.
I know, and we don't get to do this in person very often.
No, last time was on the internet. I think I spoke
Yes.
to you in Daytona after the weird COVID race we had there. So.
Exactly. And you're good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I've had obviously a very up and down season. With my World Series race not going very well, but my Super League going well. So
Super League's you're ranked number 2, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, I've never actually won the overall Super League title, and obviously there's been two races so far, and then another one on Saturday.
Right.
And only 2 of them count, and so I've got my 2 in the bag now, so 2 second places. So if anything, this Saturday's a bonus for me, and then bring on the grand final in Neom in a few weeks' time to see who becomes a Super League champion.
I love that. Now, Alistair has moved on to longer, right? And obviously recovering from surgery recently. But is that something after next year, after hopefully making another Olympic team? Do you want to go longer, or are you going to stay through LA?
I'm definitely not staying till definitely not. I can write that off straight away. This one's been long enough anyway.
Yes.
Although LA, I think it'll be a great Olympics.
It will be
over here, but unfortunately not. That's another 4 years. But going long, I keep saying let's get through Paris and wait and see.
Yes.
I've tried with a few long distance races. I did a 70.3 in Portugal, that Daytona race, and another challenge race. And to be honest with you, they haven't gone great. But I've never really prepared for them properly.
I was going to say.
I've always done them actually off the back of Super League. So gone from this racing, not touching a time trial bike, not worrying about nutrition, to then going straight into a long distance race, and it's not gone very well. But I think it's a great time for triathlon at the moment with all these different races, series to try, and it is exciting. The PTO races look great, and obviously Super League's absolutely brilliant. So let's wait and see after Paris.
I love the opportunity right now for someone who's coming as a professional triathlete, because there's World Tri, there's Super League, there's obviously the challenge races, and then you've got PTO and 70.3 and full. So it's a good era for someone to be a professional triathlete.
Absolutely, definitely. When I started it, you raced World Series and maybe the European Champs, a couple of French Grand Prix races. But there was no Super League, and then as soon as you went long, you had the 70.3 World Champs and Kona, I would say.
Right.
But now to have a whole calendar of long distance races all over the world, on TV, different places, different courses, good prize money is absolutely brilliant. I think one thing, we are unbelievably fortunate now in this period of triathlon. I've been really lucky to be able to race Super League. I've loved racing Super League. I think it's actually probably saved my career this last year.
Do you think?
Yeah, because after I worked out at the last grand final last weekend. It was my 17th World Championships or grand final, and that's a lot.
17 years doing that. Wow.
Yeah, obviously all the way from juniors, under 23.
Yes.
A lot of senior races. So I've kind of been there and done that, and done those courses. And then Super League came along a few years ago, and it was like, wow, what is this? We can compete in different places, different formats. It's exciting, it's fast, it's good for TV.
It's great for TV.
And it has saved my career. I absolutely love racing it, and like you're saying, I'm very, very fortunate to have a series like this.
It's fascinating, because I think we're at an era where it used to be that you really couldn't make a living long term unless you were moving up to the Ironman distance. I don't think you have to now. I think you can stay 70.3 PTO Super League, and they all complement each other.
You absolutely definitely can. And I think firstly in my career, we were very fortunate into London 2012. Obviously, the timing of that changed the sport in the UK for sponsorship of taking yourself outside the triathlon market into the kind of the
mainstream market. Yeah.
So we were very fortunate with that. But again, with Super League, you can make a career, out of it. The prize money, the team money is good, and it's what triathletes deserve. We work very, very hard.
So hard.
There's no shortcut to this sport. It involves 25 to 30 hours of training, traveling around the world. So to get rewards is absolutely brilliant. So again, I know I said it, but thank you for the guys who are helping support it.
So Alistair now had to have another surgery and coming back. How's he doing?
No, he's good. He's on surgery number, don't know, 5 or 6 now. Yeah, but he's had a lot of bad luck as Alistair these last few years. It's just every time he's got to the stage where he's been fit, something else has gone wrong. Then he's been unbelievably strong to build back up again, because that's obviously really hard as an athlete. You keep getting knocked down. But yeah, he had his ankle operated on probably 2 months ago now.
Yes,
and he's back running, and he's hoping to race that challenge race in Barcelona.
Yes,
it's another new distance that they've got going on. I think just to test himself out. He's not super run fit, but he's using the races to get run fit. And I think it's been a tough year for him with the change of the world champs to Nice this year, because I think genuinely he believed
was focused on Kona.
He could win that course, win on that course in Nice, because
he thought he could win Nice.
Yeah,
maybe
Nice suited him more because
the heat
bike, the rest of the heat. And there's no one, I believe, in the sport can go up and down those hills faster than Alistair.
Yes.
So and obviously it doesn't involve the heat and the intricacies and the grueling nature of Kona.
Right.
So I think that hit him hard. And but who knows what it's going to look like in another couple of years. It might be back to Nice, or it might be in Kona again. So who knows?
You never know. And next year, 70.3 Worlds will be in Taupo, so that's probably good for him.
I think that'll be really good for him in Taupo. Obviously, again, not super hot.
Right.
The roads there are like British roads, really slow, and you look at your average speed and you've barely gone anywhere.
Chip and seal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've actually trained over there a bit. The only kind of maybe complications for him for that was it's a December race, or it's a late race anyway. So he can't prepare in the British winter for that. But and that might help him. You never know, because it gives him a longer time to build up to it. But yeah, Alistair just wants to get himself back in a start line healthy, and then we can see what he can do.
So when I look at 2023, triple mix, enduro, and then here we got the eliminator. What formats do you like best, or do you like them all?
I think this is my least favourite form.
Oh, is it?
The elimination one, because it's more fast twitch. At the end of the day, it does come down to a 20-minute race at the end. The enduro format is my favourite one, where it's back to back. So in the enduro, it's every time in the Super League, it's about a 300 metre swim, a 4 kilometre bike, and a 1.5k run.
Right.
And in the enduro, you do that swim bike run, straight into swim bike run, straight into swim bike run.
Wow.
And I'm more of an endurance athlete, so that's my
The
favorite.
longer it goes, the better you are.
And also, you can't have any weaknesses in that. If your run's not great, then you're out the back and it's hard to catch up. If you're not very good at swimming tired, then again it's really hard to catch back up and you lose loads of time. And it's all about staying calm under pressure. So yeah, the enduro is my favourite, and we raced that in London a couple of months ago, and then it's in Neom as well, the enduro.
And doing that in London in front of the home crowd, that had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had many amazing experiences in my career in a home crowd. I'm fortunate to race London 2012 with 1 million people in Hyde Park, and genuinely, I think that would be the best triathlon
ever.
Yeah. I think Paris will be good Olympics. I think 2024 would be really good in Paris. Triathlon's a big sport there.
Huge.
But I don't think it'll be quite as big as London.
What's fascinating to me is I know when a country gets the rights to put on the Olympics, obviously they don't want to invite people to kick their butt in their home country. And you saw UK really amp up in terms of triathlon especially. They invested a lot in the sport. And now with Paris coming up, the French are, oh my God.
They're flying.
They're flying, right? And it seems like that's sort of a pattern. When a country, you got Brisbane coming up in 2032, you got LA coming up. Was that a conscious effort, do you think, from the UK to say, hey, let's invest in these young athletes because we want to have a showcase our athletes at the Olympics?
Well, yes and no. Obviously, when you get awarded the Olympic Games, it's a long-term project.
Right.
You find out 8-10 years before.
Right.
But for me personally, when London got awarded the Olympic Games, I was at school. I still remember a friend telling me, London's getting the Olympics in 2012. and thinking, oh, that's going to be nothing to do with me. You know, it's a long, long way away. You know, absolutely no chance. So I wouldn't say, you know, as soon as you get awarded, you start thinking, right, I'm going to start training harder. It's a long way away, and you know, there's many more steps to come. You have to race well as a senior first, and then get yourself in position to qualify. I just think when it's a home Olympic Games, there's that extra motivation. You know, going into London, I was determined to get everything right. You know, every little thing right. Sleeping well, eating well, going to altitude at the right time. There was a more support network to do that, and then you know, you had all the coaches and team that I needed to do that. But it is still a year out, and it is sometimes hard to get that peaking right because people almost are so desperate to qualify that maybe they can push it too much a year out.
Right.
One thing that we did, and also with home Olympic Games comes a lot of pressure.
You think? Big billboards everywhere you turn.
I still remember, you know, I could talk for hours about London, but I still remember the lead up into it of everywhere I went, people saying good luck or buying me a sandwich in a local shop and saying, here's your lunch, good luck, which is brilliant. But going down to Hyde Park and a billboard there with our faces on it, and on the back of buses, and then waking up in the morning, switching on the TV to have our Yorkshire tea, and the BBC News were live. They were live from Hyde Park talking about us, and just thinking, just don't mess this up. Yes. So it does come with a lot of pressure, and we dealt with that, and now it's up to the French guys to deal with that.
Was it more joy or relief when you guys got a gold and bronze?
Relief, I think.
Yeah,
it was just sad. Rio was more
Don't
joy.
Screw it up.
Yeah, I think, if I'm honest, the first reaction across the finish line was, I'm pleased we didn't screw that one up. And then it kind of sunk in of, wow, that really did happen. And then you have the days after Olympics where your medal gets you anywhere you want to go.
Anywhere you want to go. I'm surprised you're not wearing them now. I'd wear them all day long. Medal Monday, here I am.
Yeah, but obviously we had a lot of pressure on, and we had a lot of expectation for us to deliver those medals from ourselves, from outside, from British Triathlon. So it was relief that we had done it.
2008, Alistair goes right to the games and is not afraid of the moment. Goes off the front, right? Where you won, I'm sure you weren't surprised. But the fact that he did that on the biggest stage, it made a statement, right? That, hey, we're not here to participate, we're here to win.
Yeah, and I was actually there in Beijing watching Alistair, and I was in a stand, and I remember, personally thinking, oh, this is a bit disappointing. He might win this Olympics. I thought Olympians were special people, and trained in like different countries, and if he wins it, it kind of makes it. If anything, it kind of wrecks the idea that Olympians are special or Olympic medalists are special.
Because
people.
He's my brother.
Yeah,
he's not that special.
He eats fish and chips. He trains around, the local roads at home. But at the same time, it really made me believe that I could do it as well. And having heroes is something that I've never really had, but having inspiration close to home is a lot stronger. So the fact that Alistair did it, nearly did it at that point, and took on the world, and I saw what training he did. I saw he did that by cycling to school and, like I said, eating fish and chips and running with a local running group. That made me believe I can do that as well. So that was really, really important for me. And then we took that on, and very quickly London 2012 came around.
So when he comes away, you come away from. Did you guys download after the Olympics and talk about, okay, this is what I came away with? Like you said, he's off the front. You think he's going to win? It's like, oh well, it's not that big a deal. But what did he share with you afterwards?
He shared with me a few things. Firstly, that the Olympics is just another race. I know it sounds so cliche and easy to say,
yes,
but it is a triathlon,
right? And
it involves the same officials, the same blue carpet. There's people, you're racing the same people. So although you sometimes come to it and think people are getting 5 seconds faster, or whatever, or have turned up skinnier and looking fitter, it is just a triathlon, and you got to remember that. And I really took that into London 2012, realising that it is just another race.
So heading into, and how did your world change after you guys get gold and bronze? With this question, it's always interesting because it changed massively with obviously
For a while, we couldn't walk anywhere without getting recognised. I remember the immediate aftermath of London 2012. We'd want to go and watch the athletics in the stadium, and we'd have to walk separately with hats on and phone each other from across the street because it was just too busy. And
so you got that real celebrity feeling.
Yeah, we get that real celebrity feeling. Went to the closing ceremony, went back home, went to like a homecoming party at Leeds Town Hall with thousands of people in the town square. But then at the same time, it doesn't change because I was still trying to become world champion. So,
right.
So obviously it was a World Series at that point, and it was in Auckland where it finished, the grand final. So I was continuing to try and become world champion. So we got home after going to watch anything sport we wanted in London 2012, do anything we wanted pretty much, to then dive back in the same swimming pool that I'd been in a few weeks before with the coach saying, right, crack on, let's go. And I think that's actually really good for me. And to be honest with you, that's what I wanted. I could not, when I got home, I could not wait to go for a run in my local woods and just enjoy.
Just by yourself. Yeah. Just be by yourself.
So it didn't change. And then I prepared for the grand final in Auckland and became world champion. So it's all worthwhile.
How many? 6 world championships?
Well, my Wikipedia page says 6 or something, but I'm still not quite sure what they are. I think the relays and sprints and all sorts, but I've only been World Series champion once, and that was in 2012. So I'm very pleased that I committed and kept on going.
The other part about you and your brother that has always impressed me is just what you've done with the Brownlee Brothers Foundation, because you guys really, I think before anybody else, were giving back. You were understanding that we need to grow the sport. We can't wait for a federation to do it. We got to do it ourselves. How many kids now have gone through your program?
Well, over 50,000 now. It'll be like 54,000. It is absolutely incredible. So, the Brownlee Foundation is something we started in 2014.
Yes.
London 2012 legacy was talked about a lot.
Right. Yes.
All the time, and we thought, right, we have to do our bit. For the first time in the UK, triathlon had become a mainstream sport for a short period of time. So let's do our bit. So we set up the Brownlee Foundation, and basically we put on kids triathlons. It's in school time for primary school children to come to a place and do a triathlon. And every day we have 1,000 or more children doing a triathlon. It's completely free. Obviously the swimming pool's there, the bikes are there, the running circuit's there, and they turn up and finish a triathlon. And there's a few reasons, why I think it's brilliant. Firstly, getting children active is really, really important and giving them a taste. And if they enjoy the triathlon, they can go on to then do these follow-up activities or other training sessions later on throughout the whole of the year. And then secondly, just giving children something, let them achieve something they never thought they could achieve. Some people turn up thinking, I can't do a triathlon, that's way too hard. And they walk away going, I've done that. And they can take that into the rest of their life and just realise that if you give something a go, you can achieve things. So it's absolutely brilliant, and it's all free. So I think it's one of the things we really want to do is make it free, so there's not a barrier for cost.
Exactly.
All the schools have to do is get their children there. Right. So it does cost a lot of money to run. And thanks to the Phoenix guys and a few other great sponsors. Yep. It's funded, but we always are looking for continuation of it because, like I say, it isn't cheap. Never. It's an amazing course, and when I retire, I want to continue to grow it and get to that 100,000 mark and then go beyond.
Now, who will be president and who will be vice president?
Well, I've spent most of my career being vice president to Alistair, so I'll probably continue being that.
So heading into 2016, obviously totally different situation. You're going to Rio. It's going to be hot. There's a tough hill on the course. It's a totally different type of course. And you've got a mark on your back. Everybody wants you guys, right? Because you guys were bronze and gold the Olympics before. Did you feel pressure there, or did you feel like, okay, the real pressure was in London? We're playing with house money. We already got our medals.
Rio was a completely different Olympic Games. I think one because it wasn't London.
Yes. And
I went away from it going, Olympics, because obviously London being my first Olympics, that's what I thought all Olympics were like.
Yes.
And at Rio, I was like, when it's not home Olympics, it's very, very different.
Very different.
Also, I knew the course suited us perfectly. That hill was brilliant. I mean, we could split up the bike. We'd have not the best build-up to Rio, I'd had a stress fracture in my femur the year before. Alistair had a bad ankle, but we started the season in 2016 well, and by the time we got to Rio, we were absolutely flying. Alistair was flying, I was going well, and we knew it was a great opportunity for us.
Who were you worried about in that one?
Well, Gomez was obviously the big worry, but that's another reason why things became a little bit kind of, I guess, clearer, because he got knocked off his bike a couple of months before, and then he wasn't there. Vincent Louis, obviously France, we were worried about him. He hadn't raced for a few months before, so it was unknown, because we knew that the swim and bike was going to be on, so the runners were going to be behind. So it's mainly Vince and Gomez, and without Gomez, it became a little bit clearer.
Did you guys get away together on a bike?
Yeah, so there's a group of maybe 10, 12 of us.
Yeah.
And we hit that first with the bike really, really hard, and we stayed away. And then I think by the end it might be 90 seconds. And then Alistair, myself, and Vince set off on the run. And then we dropped Vince probably after about 2 kilometres. And then it was Alistair, myself. And then I made the biggest mistake of my career, which is about 6K into the run. It was a hot day. Yeah. I knew it was between Alistair and myself, and I said to him, relax, because I didn't want either of us to blow up and then obviously fall apart and then get caught. And he took that as Johnny's suffering. I'm off. So he then put the pressure on and took off. And I wish I'd never shown any weakness, because honestly, the months before, I'd actually been dropping Alistair in training before. I'd been running faster than him, and I should never have shown weakness.
So when you said relax, you were basically saying, hey, listen, they're too far back, they're not going to catch us, rather than he's going, oh, you want me to slow down.
Exactly, he's going, he's suffering. So if I could go back and do it again, I would have had a poker face on.
But going back to the UK after coming home with a gold and silver, that had to be really, really special.
Again, that was very special. We stayed out the whole time this time, and went out on a...
Oh, yeah, you probably went to every event, right?
We went out to every event. We flew back on the Team GB plane, where everyone flies back together. Gold medalists go in first class or whatever, and then silver's in business class and we're back. And then you land in London and just do 5 hours of media stuff again. And it is brilliant to be part of. When you've had a successful Olympic Games, it's... absolutely amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. And then spend a couple of months afterwards doing TV shows and that kind of thing. And I thought that was the highlight of being famous. Then obviously Cozumel happened, and that was a whole new ball game.
Oh my God! So that changes everything, because it's sort of like what happened in Super League with the women with the crash, where all of a sudden something goes viral. And what happened is basically Alistair threw you across the line, because you were out on your feet. You were like,
I can't
did you even remember any of it? None of it.
None of it.
Yeah, and I mean, he could have left you.
He
couldn't have. He would never live that down if he had left you. But that was pretty cool that he threw you. But then all of a sudden, everybody knew who you guys were.
Yeah, and it's still strange as an athlete to sit here and say, I've actually probably recognised more for what happened in Mexico than in my gold, silver, bronze medal.
Yes.
And that's just, I think, the world we live in.
Right.
I can't exaggerate how the attention changed after that. Of, getting invited on talk shows, of going back home to the UK and it being played everywhere. And even I remember flying back from Mexico. I landed in an American airport somewhere, just having a bit of food and looking at the TV.
And there you are.
TV. And then, what is going on? Short coursing.
So at that point, you didn't know that it would go on viral.
We kind of had an idea when we were in Cozumel, because we were getting asked to go on talk shows.
Yeah.
The BBC wanted to interview us, but to be honest with you, I was feeling really unwell. I wanted to get home, and I knew I had a long travel home.
You were probably still dehydrated and messed up.
Yeah, just messed up and tired.
Yes.
And it wasn't really until the days when we got home we realised how big this was going.
Millions.
Millions. And even to this day, I get people asked, when I go to school visits, it's played on the TV. It was pretty incredible.
The hard part about that is it's probably, from an athletic perspective, it's the lowest moment of your career, right? You're showing weakness and somebody has to help you. But that's what... but at the same time, it showcases a sport. It helps the Brownlee Foundation, so you sort of have to look at the good and bad.
Yeah, you do. And initially, I felt like a failure because I wanted to become world champion. As I said, I only became world champion once in 2012. and that was my opportunity, and I messed it up because of pacing, really.
Yeah.
So it was really strange for me to kind of get more recognition, get more praise for something that I felt like I'd messed up in.
Yes.
And also something that I can't remember. So, yeah, it was a very, very strange situation.
That is so wild. And the rest of this season, what will you be doing?
Well, I'm going to race obviously here on Saturday, Malibu, and then Neon Super League.
Are you good when I know that Leeds has really good surf, so this is probably good for you.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I struggle with this swim because there's not a lot of the part that I enjoy, which is actually swimming.
Yes.
It's a lot of getting in the water, through the waves,
getting out of the
water,
and not getting smashed
yeah,
or bitten by a seal.
Bitten by a seal, yeah, which we never do in the UK. You know, our seas and coastline at UK is mainly about eating fish and chips and building sandcastles, not surfing. So I'll try and do my best.
My favorite with you guys is you go in and you win gold, you win silver, and you still come back, and you could be training in Girona, you could be training in all these sort of hot spots, and here you are putting on your warmies and putting on the fenders and going out in Leeds in the pouring rain. And there's just something about that makes you tough, that makes you handle any conditions that are out there.
I like to think so, but the reason I like being at home, and I like my home comforts. I like training with the groups that I've trained with since I was 10 years old,
Yes.
and then you're going to the local bike ride and meeting people that I've grown up with, and I get comfort out of that. And although it is tempting sometimes when you come here and you see where are we now, nearly October, and it's nearly 30 degrees out there, but it is tempting sometimes. But yeah, I like being at home.
I love it. Jonny, I always appreciate you taking time and chatting. You guys, what you guys have done for the sport, bringing 55,000 new kids into our sport, that's the future, right? Those guys are eventually, you'll be at a finish line at some Olympics putting a medal on one of those kids who started out at a Brownlee Foundation event.
Well, I hope so, and even bigger than that. It's 55,000 kids that know what a triathlon is and have done one and go home and tell their friends and their family. So hopefully for the Brownlee Foundation, we're growing triathlon in the UK and around the world.
Around the world, no question.
Might be here in a few years' time.
I love it. Jonny Brownlee has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob, Super League Malibu. Hold on. We will be right back.